Yeah, hi guys, it's Nick from the Chaos Club again. I just thought I'd give you a bit of a backstory and rundown on Lowblo, my VK Commodore. It's got the 5.3 Turbo LS in it. It's come a long way from, it was a $500 wreck when I bought it. It was white, 6 cylinder, with a pile of stuff all over the roof. Had a rat's nest in the back seat, and my wife was not impressed when I brought it home. So I'll give you a bit of a rundown and we'll go through what's been done to the car, where I'm at with it all and what I'm planning to do. So yeah, I got the car on the lift. I'm just in the middle of putting all the street wheels and tyres back on, taking the radials and front runners off. I'm going to go, next step will be put it on the dyno again and have a bit of a play. Having a bit of trouble getting it in anywhere, so it looks like it might be having a crack myself. I've got HP tuner stuff and done a little bit of tuning with it, mostly road tuning and things, but got the dyno there to use, so I'm gonna just very slowly creep up on a few things and just learn stuff. I'm not going to go too hard. That's what I'm saying now, but it doesn't always work out that way. So yeah, just got it in the middle of changing all that. As I said, the car started off as a bone stock, base model, white, 6 cylinder, 202. It was all in bits when I got it. Hadn't been running for a long time. Bloke had been using it for a work car. It had half an engine in the back of it. Had oil all over everything. It was probably one of the dirtiest cars you could ever imagine getting into. It had a rat's nest in the back seat, and she was pretty nasty. I'll show you some photos. So yeah, I brought it home and stripped it all down. Had full dirt floor shed in this garage at that stage. Didn't have any hoist or anything, any luxuries like that. So in the middle of winter, out on the gravel underneath it, stripping it back and doing my best to clean it all up. At the time, I was pretty quiet with work. I had a fair bit of time. Hardly any money and a bit of time, so I just did as much as I could while I could, without too much outlay on any of that. And it's just progressed slowly over must be 4 years or so now till it's got to this stage. But yeah, so I started off, I had a VL Turbo Borg Warner, 28 spline diff in it with an LSD that I'd picked up. That was okay started off with an alloy block 5.7 that I made up out of 2 blown up motors. My good mate Aki that I've talked about gave me a block originally to dummy it up just in case I ever happen to get to that stage. And things just progressed from there. I ended up buying, that one had a snapped rod in it. I ended up buying another blown up motor that had a spun bearing, and I managed to make one out of the two. Put a cam in that, got it all in here. Did the same with the gearbox. I bought a T56 for, I think it was $380. The guy delivered it to me. It turned out, pulled it down and it was no good. So I picked up another one with a broken input shaft that had been in a car accident and had been on fire. So I managed to make one out of the two of those. And so far it's been okay. Having a little bit of trouble getting select and reverse, but I've just tightened up some shifter bolts and hopefully that's all that was. Yeah, with the alloy block 5.7 in it, I got it all engineered. Everything fully street legal. Took it to Calder. I think it did 12 threes or something, 12 ones, which is okay. And then put a cam in it. A couple of changes here and there with the exhaust, I think I did, and ended up doing 1190, which I was pretty happy with that at the time. I ended up after that, got a bit excited as you do, thought I might go down the boosted route, so straight to eBay, did a whole lot of shopping, thought I'd try it the cheap way on my cheap motor that I'd done all myself and without spending a lot. Got that going on there. Probably had a heap of dramas with a few things, as you do. Made up this same turbo kit that I had on it, which just consists of a LSA driver's side, and I've made up a tubular passenger side manifold. Originally I had a 3-inch dump that went down through the chassis, but nowadays got a 4-inch dump that I've notched the firewall. Still all fairly tight down through there, but it gets down there. Stainless 2.5-inch crossover, and a Borg Warner S480 that I've just downsized the turbine housing on that, and that's why I'm going to retune it. So yeah, there's a few things that changed, but it started off with the other turbo on it, on the alloy block. We tuned it up. A friend who was helping me tune, and we were learning a few things along the way. Tuned it up, and it was making 420 kilowatts. It was really responsive. It was a bit of a light switch. It was pretty good fun. It was a fair bit of a handful. It only had some rubbish tyres on it, so it was pretty loose. But unfortunately, I was playing around with the tune, and had it on the dyno before I was going to go to Calder, and found the limit of the junk rods and rod bolts from my scrap pile that I'd built it all out of, so windowed that in a big way, and that led to the build of this motor. So one thing led to another. I thought I was going to go down the cast iron route. Originally I was trying to find a 6 litre, pretty hard to come by. We live a fair way away from too much. I'm sort of an hour out of Melbourne, but there's not much out this way, and it gets pretty hard to find anything. So originally I was going to go with a Gen 4 5.3, which is what I could get hold of. I waited months and months and months on one of those, supposedly coming in, and ended up getting a little bit messed around and got one that it was no good. So I ended up buying a Gen 3 5.3, which led me to building this motor. So things got out of hand. I didn't have those good rods, so buying forged rods, forged pistons, one thing leads to another. You end up with everything balanced and new turbos, and if you're going to do everything else, you might as well do the injectors and fuel system again. So yeah, I started off, had the an Aeroflow intercooler in it originally, and it was okay. It was doing the job. Wasn't performing all that well, but I've since upgraded to got a Plasma Man cooler in there at the minute. That's working really well, made a huge difference. I've got Bosch 2200cc injectors in it, which definitely big enough. The duty cycle's not all that high on them. Got aftermarket rails, FPR 2000 reg. Turbo Smart blow-off valve on there. It's got a 60mm wastegate down underneath. Show you that in a sec. I've recently swapped coilovers because the iron block, a new turbo, dropped it all down a fair bit more. So I've had to upgrade them just to get it back up off the ground. Yeah, it's got VT brakes on it off the later model Commodore, twin piston calipers, VT master cylinder, VS booster. That all just bolts up without having to change too much. One of the things I've done, I've got an 80 litre VS Commodore fuel tank in it, so just a later, an X-shape series Commodores. 80 litre bigger tank in there, which I did a fair few modifications on that, which caused me all sorts of dramas. So yeah, the boot, as you can see, the boot is all nothing much in there. Relocated the battery in there. Got a few things left to tidy up. It was holding a little bit of water, had the boot leaking, so I've got to sort that out. But it's getting there, but yeah, can carry everything in there without too many dramas. In case I ever decide I want to go on a big drive. But yeah, I've got a 9-inch diff in there now, 31 spline billet axles, Eaton True Track centre. New brakes on the back. Just runs adjustable upper control arms and King springs, so nothing too fancy there. Standard body mounts, nothing modified. I've tried to keep everything inside the car as standard as possible, so nothing looks too out of the ordinary. It's not quite period correct steering wheel, but similar HDT, 6-speed knob on it. But I've got all the gauges hidden, so everything looks and operates sort of as factory. Just a lot louder and probably a fair bit quicker at the moment. But yeah, that's about everything up top. Might lift it up and I'll show you what goes on underneath. Alright, so I got it up on the lift. You have to excuse the state of this thing. There's no racing, no shows, no anyone. It's in a bit of a sorry state. Been pretty short on time. Everything else going on, so it's not getting the love that I usually like to give it. Yeah, so this is underneath. As I said, I've got coilovers, twin piston VT brakes, 60mm turbo smart wastegate tucked down there, 4-port boost controller on it. Just noticed before, got a bit of a kink in my boost line, so I had to sort that out. It's a second overflow from the radiator. That's the serious one, and it's going to hopefully let me know if I'm lifting heads, which has happened before. Gone a bit tighter, different gaskets, glue, a few different strategies. We'll see what happens. I didn't fire ring the block. Seemed like a lot of money at the time, but in hindsight, with the few issues I've had since, it probably would have been a good thing to do. The exhaust, it's been quite a bit of a project. This is the second one I've done on this one. It's all stainless steel. It's 4-inch dump pipe. Comes down ovalled around the corner into world's longest merge, which was a pain in the bum, but it just felt like doing something different. The twin 3-inch stainless out the back, over the diff. It's got one muffler in there, which isn't really enough. It's not a lot of fun for the family to go for a drive in. Everyone complains it gets a bit loud. It's a bit tight over the diff, but to clearance it a bit. Full pipes straight out the back. There's that 80-litre tank I was talking about. Nothing else very exciting. It's got runs 2 Lowblo 450 pumps in the tank. There's a Y piece there with 2 check valves. Dash 8 hardline. Got a filter there now with a maybe 10 micron filter, I think it is in it. I might have had a 60 or something to start off with. After I modified this tank, cut it all up and welded it and whatever, and it's the first one of them I've ever attempted. Tuning led to a whole heap of issues that what I tracked it down to eventually was metal filings got stuck in the tank, and they'd got through everything and into the injectors. I was having all sorts of hell with that. Cleaning injectors, new ones, retuning. It all sort of came about at the same time as the heads lifting and whatnot. So my poor tuner at the time was I gave him all sorts of issues. Also had I didn't have the brace on the back of the alternator, and was throwing belts. When it would get to full torque, must have been putting a lot of load on everything and was spitting belts off. So as you can see, I've shredded the heat wrap on there, so I've got to redo that. Got my coils tucked up under there. Got another set back up on the side of the block up there. Just trying to keep it all down and keep it neat. Got an oil cooler in here. I don't know if that's a good idea, it's right in front of the front wheel. But sort of running out of room. You just got to make things work sometimes. Hope for the best. See me looping out down the high speed down the quarter. You might know why. But yeah, so that's about it underneath. Nothing too exciting. Cut the plas cooler in there. It's really a bit dark to see. The lighting's average. Plas cooler tucked in there pretty well. You can't really see any of it, so yeah. But yeah, that's about it, I guess, for Lowblo. Aim is to get it back to the track and retune it with this new turbine housing on. As I said, it had a 1.25 on an 80mm turbo on a 5.3 with a manual. So, show you the dyno sheet here. You can see that it was mega peaky, and it comes on hard, but it's not really drivable. With the manual, it's super hard to put that down where you want it. So you'll drop down on that turbine housing to a 1.1. It already feels way better. So I'm hoping to pick up a lot more power in the mid-range. Running 20, this is on 20 pound boost, you can see there. So yeah, it was still making good power. Should have room for more boost in it if I don't lift the heads, and hopefully a bit more mid-range, which with any luck will translate to in the 10s somewhere, if not one day eventually even lower, but it seems like a long way off at the moment. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, got Lowblo on the dyno tonight. Just going to have a bit of a play around with the timing and the tune. Not going to go too overboard with anything. Change that housing back to a 1.1, so got to pull some timing out of it most likely. See where we're at, and just the fueling's been a little bit rich. Struggling a little bit with the bigger injectors, just trying to get it where I want it. But just mostly me going to be having a little slow play around and learn tonight to see how we get on. Not looking to set any records, just hopefully get it home in one piece and I'll be stoked. So yeah, that's where we're at. Alright, do a couple of pulls on 15 pound, just playing with the fueling, getting that right still, see how we go. Just finished another pull then, got the fuelings getting better, got it pretty happy. Got a bit of discrepancy between my wideband and the one in the dyno. Mine's an Innovate one, and because it also controls the fuel cuts and boost cuts and all that stuff, I'm splitting the difference between mine and the one from the dyno. I've done a bit of a comparison, and I've got two Innovate ones read the same as mine, and they're both a little bit different to the one on the dyno. So my dyno sheets don't exactly reflect mine, but it's all in line. So I've gone a little bit rich on mine, and it's probably showing a tad lean on the dyno sheets, but down in the 0.75s, 7.6s sort of thing. So it's either, if mine's right, then it's costing me a bit of power down there, but it still seems to be going alright. I'd rather it's safe than sorry. But yeah, anyway, so that was yeah, as you can see, 16 pound. It dropped off a little bit with the new housing, so I've just put another 2% of gain into my boost controller, just to try and flatten the boost curve off a little bit. But yeah, it's sort of peaked at 18 psi. Wherever it was, around 5,000 revs. At that power, like that boost, it's making 505 kilowatts. So yeah, the power curve's flattened off a lot. It's coming on way sooner. I did a little bit nervous about how soon to have it coming in, because I believe there's some point in there where the cylinder pressure's going to be too high, and I'm probably going to lift these heads again. So I'm just very cautiously trying to creep up on it. But yeah, 18 pound now, so I'll put another couple of percent in soon. Seems the fueling's all good, and see how we go with that. Alright, so I've just done another pull then. Put another 2% into my boost controller, which peaked my boost at 20 pound. is good, but the housing and the exhaust is restricting it a bit, so my booster's dropping off. You can see the power sort of flattening off from 195 k per hour onwards. It's not climbing anymore. Fueling's still on that graph. It's nearly spot on, about where you'd want it. It should be about 177, 0.77 I mean. On my log through my wide band, it's showing 0.7 3s and 4s, which is a bit fat. So I may just lean it up just a touch in that area. I'm going to put a little bit more gain into my boost controller and see if I can counteract that extra pressure drop. But yeah, the old turbo probably had held a bit flatter up and higher in the boost. There's no worries, but it's making good power. I'm happy with that. I'm not trying to set any records or whatever, but if there's a little bit there to be had, I'll just make a couple of corrections and see how I go. There's no water in the overflow then, so that's good. Hopefully that's under control. Dropped off a little bit up top then. Actually only peaked at 19p under boost. Fueling that run was slightly better. Still lose a bit up there, but I might leave it at that, I think. See how I go. It's, plenty of torque and power there. Before with the other housing I was coming in way later. I've picked up a ton of power all the way through the mid-range, hopefully not too much. I've been checking my overflow, keeping an eye on things. It's only got 10 degrees of timing in it, sort of where the torque's right up. Yeah, so yeah. But it seems to be running alright. It's all holding together pretty good. Time to go home. Yeah, so the car's running a full exhaust. It's got 4-inch dump into the twin 3-inch system, all the way out over the diff. And now, oh well, it's got a Wi-Fi exhaust pipe going on there, but there's a little bit of extra restriction there, so I don't think that'll be helping the power figure up top. Might also be choking it up a bit more with that on. If I ran a horn or something side pipe on it, I think I'd gain a fair bit more up top there, but yeah, there's a little bit going on that I've got to work out. Hopefully these restrictions get lifted soon and I can take it down the track. I had a heap of trouble last time, as I said. It was either bogging or just top end wheel spinning. Sort of couldn't really get it down, but I've gained a ton of mid-range there. Seems to all still be in one piece, which is good. No major damage. Yeah, so that's about it. My tuning hasn't killed it too much. So anyway, so yep, I'll leave it at that. And that'll wrap up this episode of Lowblo. Hopefully next time it'll be at the track again. And with any luck, I did that 11.4 or something, 136 mile an hour or whatever it was last time. 1960 foot, it was all pretty horrible, on and off the throttle all over the place. So with any luck, yeah, this next run, I might be able to put down a bit better number. We'll see how it goes. Got a little bit less up top, but it's no use having it there if you can't even get to that point in the rev range. So, and a couple more things I need to say is a big thank you to Aki from Ackland Automotive for letting me use the dyno here. He's got me started with the tuning and helping me out and giving me pointers wherever he can. I'm definitely an amateur at all of it, but I'm trying to learn slowly, so yeah, I couldn't do any of it without his help. The panel work and things on this car was done, I did a bit underneath and a bit in the engine bay, but my brother-in-law Tristan helped me out. He's done an awesome job and been there for me throughout. Ross Barclay painted it. Yeah, and a huge thank you to my wife for letting me do those sorts of things. She's at home stuck there with the kids. So yeah, she's the MVP of this whole show. So yeah, anyway, thanks to all those guys. Give me some likes and give me some motivation to upgrade my camera equipment, and I'll try and provide a bit better quality stuff. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll try and get me get things on the move and try and provide a bit better entertainment. Right, see you guys.